G'day guys, welcome back to another episode. On this one, we're going to make a battery tray to sit in the spare wheel compartment of the XF boot. The XFs from factory have a recessed area where the spare wheel sits vertically. It's a great area to put a spare battery because it sits slightly lower than the boot floor itself. The reason why I'm putting the battery in the boot is to create more space in the engine bay with the intercooler, the blower and all the rest of it. It's going to get quite cramped in there and quite hot as well. So we're going to make that up. We're going to recess it in there, fit an Optima battery, and then all the wiring associated with that as well. We might not do all the wiring in this episode, but we will get to it in a later one. The plate I'm using for the floor for the battery to sit on will be 4mm thick steel, and I have a couple of 9-degree angle pieces as well just to reinforce it, and they'll all get welded into that section there itself. Okay guys, this is the recessed spare wheel compartment I was telling you about. So there it is there. So there's our piece of angle line, which is 20 by 20. We're going to weld them on the side for some support. So we'll now measure up the pieces of angle line that we have here to weld into place, so we get a reference for how long the flat plate steel has to be. And then we'll measure the width of the recessed area itself for how wide it has to be. They are about 320 long. And the area we're going to recess it into is going to be about 260. By the time we drop it down, I think it tapers in towards the bottom there a little bit. It's about 260 mil. We'll start cutting that steel out and we can adjust it as we go along if we need to trim it up a little bit. Okay, what I'm going to do, because this piece has multiple holes in it, but it's the only piece I could get, I may have to fill 3 of these holes with a MIG and then just grind them flat again. It'll be perfect, you won't even know. So I'll mark it off around where the big recesses are and just square it off on both sides with the square. So that should be even across both lines there, from top to bottom. So we're looking at roughly 265 on the top and about 265 at the bottom, so perfect. Okay, now that we got that, we'll mark out one side. $260. We'll go 3 times down to make sure we get the get an even line all the way down. 260. The square, just line all those 3 lines up, 3 markings up, draw a line. Okay, and it was 320 from memory, from top to bottom. So 320, 320, 320, 320. Square it again, line all their markings up, straight across. Okay, what we're going to do is use this Scotch-Brite pad on a 5-inch grinder to clear up the paint in the wheel well itself, and if we need to, we'll go over it again with a wire brush just to get it ready for welding in. As you can see, it's pretty messy. All the old paint coming off. It's pretty much got everywhere. I've cleaned up the areas where I need to weld in, so that's already there. Back to bare metal on both sides. So I'll use the Scotch-Brite on the piece of angle line now, and then I'll get them ready. Okay, we've cleaned up the area. We've set the tray in there. Looks pretty good. Set the bubble up. All sitting almost perfect. Tap it down a little bit this side. It's pretty good. This way. It's not bad. Okay, with that being pretty straight now, we'll get the angle line, place it underneath the tray there itself and start tacking it into place. We'll remove the tray, do a couple of welds on the angle line, and then put the tray back on top, and then do a couple of tacks on that as well. This is my MIG setup. It's a Lincoln 180C. I've owned this for, I don't know, about 12 years now. I think it's a great little welder. Got some MIG gas in the back. I've got all my grinder stuff underneath there, all my safety gear. The welder itself is good. The reason why I chose this welder back in the day was because every car show I watched, in the background, everyone had this welder. So because it's a transformer type welder, it should last forever. Unlike the inverter ones, which will eventually, I'm guessing, will break and wear out, or the printed circuit board will fail. This one should just keep going. So it's a great little welder. I've done heaps of jobs in the car itself. I think it's suitable for what I need, really. So we've got it all set up. Got the mat there blocking the panel work. I'm just going to tack it in a few spots once I get the little angle line underneath, and pull that top cover off.
Yo!
Okay, I'm just going to give the welds a quick touch up with a die grinder, and then another quick grind, and then we should be able to place the top piece on and give that a few tacks. Okay, the area's marked up now. Do a little touch up. Okay, now the primer's dried, I'll place the top piece on. I'm going to tack it into place and then weld it up. Okay, the welds themselves turned out pretty good. I like seam welding stuff, so I welded it all the way down both sides. It also gives the back part a bit more structural support as well by having that braced up. So what we're going to do now is get the floppy disk on it and then clean it up with a wire brush, and then we'll mount the billet bracket for the Optima battery and then mark all that out and drill the holes for that. Okay, here's the bracket I was talking about. It's a billet bracket to suit an Optima battery. What I'm going to do is try and center it on that plate, mark the holes, drill them out, and then I'll find some bolts to suit, bolt it down, job done. Okay, I've got the center punch. I'm going to center punch these holes, drill them out with a small drill bit, and then step it up to a 7.5mm until I can get the exact bolts that I need, and then I'll drill them out to suit. There you have it, job done. Once I find the bolts to bolt it all down, it'll be complete. I'll give it a coat of paint. Should be good to go. After that, we'll start doing the battery cables for it. That turned out pretty well. Pretty happy with it. Okay guys, that's another episode done. I've got the battery bracket finished up in the boot. Add a bit of structure there as well by seam welding in that bracket that we put in. All I've got to do now is paint the floor and paint around that the wheel latch, a recessed area, before I can start putting some wiring in and the isolator and all the rest of it. But it turned out pretty well. I'm pretty happy with it. It's one job off the list of many jobs to go. So until next time, like and subscribe, and appreciate it. See ya.